Good afternoon, everyone. This is Mike Goodwin with EverLogic. What I want to show you this afternoon is some ways to help increase your sales and stay in contact with your customers using the EverLogic system. We've got several ways, and what I want to first start out with is showing you our new reminder system that we've just introduced here in the latter part of 2011. When I click on the Home tab, each user has a profile, and you can click on this profile link. What it does, it pulls up basically places to change your password, set up your email if you're going to send email out of the system, set up a custom signature, things like that. Now for this particular follow-up, with the reminder system, you can schedule an interval for the system to pop up a reminder that you have follow-ups to do. So I'm going to set this to 1 minute for now. And normally you'd probably set this for something like every 15 minutes or 30 minutes, something like that. And so what we'll do is we'll wait for the pop-up to show up, and then I'll carry on and show you what it does. Okay, so if you notice down here on the right-hand portion of your screen, there is a list or a little reminder window that pops up, and it's going to pop up every minute right now because based on my settings, but it will pop up and say I have reminders that need to be followed up. Now what you do is you click on this link here to go to your customer follow-up list, and what that does, it dismisses the message and it brings up this customer follow-up list. So what you can do in here is you can expand out prospects, service customers, and sold customers. Let's talk about your prospects first. So when you expand this, it gives you different statuses for a prospect. Let's go into our warm items. There's 10 customers in here that need to be followed up, and obviously, in this test system, you have long intervals that as the customer's not being followed up with regularly. And if you notice, as we've gone through here the past 60 seconds, we have that pop-up that keeps showing up here. So let's pull up a customer. Let's show you how they get classified that way. You can classify them as a status right here, and when you hover over this, you'll see that you've got various follow-up intervals like 2 days, 5 days, 30 days. So if I change this to cold, it's not going to remind me for another 30 days to contact that customer. And I may want to make a note of why I changed that status. The system will tell you in the history log here that the status has changed after I've saved it, but it'll do that and show you can make notes and things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and save this to the customer record, close this down. So that's how you follow up with your prospects. And sold customers, this is anybody who's bought a unit from you, and we have distinct follow-up intervals that I've got set up in our system of 7, 30, and 60 days, and then every anniversary of the sale. So in here, this would be an anniversary record, for example. Maybe we have some customers who just purchased, so we sold this to Linda Williams 7 days ago. We would want to follow up with her and give her a call and make a note of that event. And to do that, you just go over here to perform a post-sale follow-up for the customer and just say, called to make sure she was happy with the unit. And she was. So we can put something like that in there, and then we can save the follow-up. And so now it's not going to remind me for another 30 days to call her. Now you can change these. There's no service follow-ups for her at this time. The next thing that we have is we have service follow-ups. So if I scroll back up here to my service follow-ups, we also have customers in here like Nancy Smith that we had a repair. We might want to call her, and we have intervals for that as well. And you can set these in your system rules table. But let's pull her up, and we can perform a post-sale follow-up through that mechanism. And so we'll close that down. So that's your reminder system, and that's a pretty handy feature for being able to stay in front of your customers, making sure that they're happy. I'm going to go ahead and turn that profile off. To do that, you just go back into your profile and you turn it to 0. And now we won't have those reminders popping up. You can also get to that that same list by going to your sales operations tab and clicking on the customer follow-up link. So that's one way that you can generate more sales activity by staying in front of your customers. The second thing that I want to show you is the sales board. Basically, we have on a sales quote, we have a way to elevate that to an opportunity. And what we call the opportunity list is our sales board. And so if I have a sale and I know it's a pretty good opportunity, I'm going to elevate that sale to post to my sales board. And as soon as I check that box, I can put it in whatever month I want to put that in. So I'll just close this down and show you what the sales board looks like. So the sales board for your location or for your dealership will show you all of your current deliveries for that month. It will also show you all your quotes, and you can have various other statuses. So for example, if this particular customer, we're going to go to the next step with them, they call up and said, yeah, we want to put a deposit in on the unit, so you can take a deposit over here, and then you may change the status to finance pending. So now we have to go through and run credit checks on the customer and find out a funding source for them. As soon as we do that, the status has changed, and if we refresh our sales board, you'll notice that that customer has now been elevated. So this is another way for you to make sure that every opportunity is being tracked in the dealership, and you're able to follow up with those customers and potentially make more sales, and that's what it's all about. The other thing I wanted to show you would be a quick way of just looking through your recent quotes. If you click on the list quotes button and you've got my recent quotes, that would be personal quotes, or this would be dealership quotes. So you could list recent quotes, and this might be a good list for sales managers. What it basically does is if you click on the show link here, it'll go back 1 month and it will pull all of the quotes that were done in the past month. And so this would be a good list for you to call on. And what I potentially would do is I would add in, on this particular list, I might want to see the customer's home and cell phone numbers and put those on here. And then I would go through and maybe print this out and make a call list, or I'd export it out to Excel. If I had different salespeople here, I would definitely, organize it by salesperson. I would tell Doug to call, I'd tell Frank to call, and his particular prospects, and find out what's going on with them. And so that's another way of looking through your past quotes. And you can do this with any date range. Like maybe you want to go back 3 months and see what you did 3 months ago that hasn't closed. So you could go back several months. Let's go back to say the 11th of 08 of 2011, and we'll go through the 12/31 of 2011. And so we'll use that date range and we'll produce a list. And maybe I don't want to see, I just want to see my quote onlys. So I'll say just show me quote onlys, and then I can organize that list by salesperson. Once again, we'll do a grouping here, group it up by the salesperson. Then we can work with our salespeople on calling on these particular quotes that are outstanding, and just see if the customer has purchased yet or has another opportunity. So that's another way for you to look for opportunities to elevate your sales. The last thing I want to show you in this brief demonstration is how to produce a customer email list. So if I want to do an email campaign for customers, maybe I'm looking for customers that haven't had activity in a certain period of time. So I'm going to look customers that, from 6 months ago to 3 months ago that have no activity after 3 months, and I want to kind of get back in front of those customers. So click on your Search Customers button, click on Last Activity, and then let's put in a date. So let's say we want to see customers that we haven't really spoken with since November. So let's go from the period of September through November. So we'll go with 09/01 of 2011, and we want to go through to the end of the year, so 12/31 of 2011. And what this will do is it'll produce me a list of customers that really haven't had any activity in the past 3 months, but they are active in our system. And what I would do is I would go through that list, and this is the list I would export here. So I would take this list, and maybe if I just want to do an email campaign, the only real fields I need is the customer name and the email. So I'm going to customize this list to just have those two values, customer and email. And I'm going to produce that list here. And then if I want to do an email campaign, I would say just show me the customers that don't, customers that do have an actual email address, and this would be that list. And then what I would do is I'd export that out to Excel. Just by clicking on the Excel button, I'll save it to my desktop, and I'll just call this my email campaign for, inactive customers. And we'll save that to our desktop. And then we would use a program like Constant Contact or Vertical Response or MailChimp, and we'd import that list into there. It would dedupe it for us. And then we do our email campaigns. We design an email and send it to these people. It's like, hey, we haven't seen you in a while. Why don't you come back in? And here's a 25% off certificate, in our parts store. So these are some ideas that you can use to help generate more sales activity at your dealership. I want to thank you very much for your time, and we'll have some more videos coming out to, help you with your dealership operations and your sales. Thank you so much.